This video is for information purposes only. All yogic activities should be undertaken only at the advice of a qualified physician and solely at your own personal responsibility. Welcome to Breathe With Me by Ebony Yoga, where we focus on the breath. In this beginner series, inspired by Kemetic or ancient Egyptian yoga, we are linking the breath to a single pyramid posture. Pyramids are portals of power, and by breathing through them, we recognize their effects on the body's sacred geometry. This video's posture is tree pose, or vrikshasana in Sanskrit. We will come to tree pose via mountain pose, or tadasana in Sanskrit, also known as tekken in Kemetic yoga. The suggested mantra to repeat silently as you breathe is I am rooted. After a basic introduction to the pose, I'm going to offer you several modifications and cues. Keep what feels good to your body and leave the rest. Now let's come to standing. Let's rock forward and backward on our feet and find that sweet spot where you feel like your weight is evenly balanced. And then maybe shift your weight from side to side and find that sweet spot again where all four corners of your feet can root to the earth. Look down at your feet. Pick up the toes on your left foot. Try to lower the toe, one toe at a time, starting with your pinky. And then pick up the toes on your right foot and try to lower one toe at a time, starting with your pinky. Hopefully your toes are spread out on the mat and your feet feel firmly rooted to the mat. Now let's draw our attention to our knees. You don't want to lock your knees. You don't want your knees in such a firm position that there's no buoyancy. So make sure that you've got just a little bit of sway in your knees. Those bony points in the front of your hip, those two bony hip points should be pointing forward and should also be in a line with your knees. Lift your energy up from your quads. Activate your quads as if you could pull them up towards the sky. Now, when you activated your quads, did your glutes tighten? If so, release your glutes, but keep the activation in your quad. You might also need a slight pelvic tilt so that your tailbone is pointing down towards the earth. Sometimes it helps me to use my hands to urge my tailbone down. Now, as you tilted your tailbone down, you should have felt your core turn on. So keep that tailbone down and keep your core on. Imagine that there is a string lifting you up from the center of your chest. Imagine that you're creating space across your chest. You're bringing your shoulders down away from your ears, and that your shoulder blades are reaching together behind you. But when you lifted your chest towards the sky, did your front ribs poke out? If so, bring those ribs in just slightly while keeping the expansion across your chest. Make sure that the back of your neck is long. Perhaps that means a slight tuck of the chin. And then imagine that there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head all the way through your feet, through your entire body, through the crown of your head to the sky so that you are long all the way through. Remember, we're rooted down on the four corners of our feet. Our knees are not locked. They're in alignment with our front hip bones. Your quads are activated and pulling up towards the sky. Your glutes are relaxed. Your tailbone is pointing down towards the earth, and your abs are turned on. Your chest is broad, your shoulders are down out of your ears, your shoulder blades are pulling together just slightly. Maybe you rotate your palms out from the body to encourage the shoulder blades to pull back behind you, but you soften your front ribs. Tuck that chin. Crown of the head lifts towards the sky. Breathe here. Remember, it's an inhale, pause, exhale, pause. The tip of the tongue should be to the back of your teeth. Perhaps you close your eyes as you repeat to yourself, I am rooted in mountain pose. Breathe. Even though we are not physically moving, our body is turned on at this moment. Breathe. I am rooted. Now, let's transition into tree pose. So if your eyes are closed, open them and focus your gaze or your drishti at something in front of you and on the earth that isn't moving. So focus your breath there. And then let's pick up our left foot. You can point the toes towards the earth and then just bring the arch of the foot to the ankle. If you want a little bit more, you can bring the arch of the foot to the calf and notice the pyramid that you formed there. Breathe. Externally rotate the hip to open the leg that's forming the pyramid. Even though we're working on balance now, you should still repeat, I am rooted, to yourself. If you're having trouble with your balance, you can always place a block underneath the toes of your lifted foot, or you can move to a wall or a support for your hands, or you could lean against a wall for your glutes. You also might need a little micro bend in your standing leg. We don't want to lock that knee. But breathe. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. You can bring your prayer hands to your chest, or you could raise your hands above your head in a partial pyramid, which may or may not help with your balance. Play and see what works for you. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands down by your sides as you release your foot. Pick up your right foot and bring that right arch alongside the ankle of your left leg or inside the calf of your left leg. Remember to keep our mountain pose posture as you practice your balance here. Once you feel balanced, return those prayer hands to your chest or extend your arms above your head in a V or a partial pyramid. Make sure that you keep your neck long. If your arms are raised, we're lengthening the sides of the torso, which might give you more room to breathe. Bring your shoulders down out of your ears. Continue dropping your tailbone and pressing that foot into your standing leg. We're externally rotating the hip to open the pyramid forming leg. Don't lock your knee, just think of lifting and lengthening. Tree pose helps us strengthen the feet, the ankles, and the leg. It also stimulates our balance. When you're ready, inhale, pause, and as you exhale, release the hands and feet. Pause. Come to standing back in mountain pose and notice how you feel. Thank you for breathing with me.